Siddur Snippet series is generously sponsored by the Saka family and as well by Ayelet and Avram Foreman. We are on the 11th bracha of the Amida, Hashiva, Shofteinu, Keverishana, our hope and our prayer for judicial reform. Lav Dafka, the judicial reform of the Supreme Court of Israel. Lav Dafka, maybe not. But judicial reform of the world, a world whose justice is so perverted and distorted, a world who is so unjust and biased against Israel and against Jews. That's a gullus, a world that's filled with gullus. And part of the tahalich, part of our tefillah, as we've shifted in the Amida from our personal needs and prayers, and we've now shifted to the collective national hope, beginning with Kabbalah Shofar Gadol, beginning with the 10th bracha, where we hope for the kibbutz galios, the ingathering of the exiles, and continuing with Hashiva Shofteinu Kevarishona, the sign, the symbol, really the evidence that we are heading towards Geula, is when we have justice that's served in the world again. We know that the Nevi'im blamed the gullus of the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash because we didn't honor, we didn't fight for the widow and the orphan. And what brings Tzion B'mishpat Tipadeh? What brings a sense of pidyon? What brings Geula if we long for redemption? It's Mishpat. It's Hashiva Shofteinu Kevarishona. It's the sense of justice that we so crave and that we so long for. That's what we closed last time with the Yaros Dvash. Rabbi Yonasan Eibshitz talks about that justice is a source of Hashras Hashchina. Kadosh Baruch Hu reveals himself through justice and justices, through the Dayanim, the Lishkas HaGazah, Sanhedrin sat. We don't divide the branches that justice is sat elsewhere. They were in the Beis HaMikdash itself. Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Siyata Dishmaya, the divine providence, supervision to the development and the execution of justice. That's Hashem revealing himself in this world. Maybe that's why Rav Chaim Vital, Parsha Shoftim, quotes that Moran Ha'ari, his great teacher, the Arizal, his hero, so he cautioned him, Sheizar bekavana betfilo v'prat bebirchas Hashiva Shofteinu. The Rav Chaim Vital quotes his Rebbe, the Arizal, that the Arizal pointed especially to have kavana for this bracha, for this hope, for the return of a sense of justice, of fighting for justice, protecting and preserving justice, and Hashem serving justice, that we are protected under a true sense of justice. Each bracha of the Amida, we've mentioned, has a historical precedent. Some from the Medrash, Shibbolei Aleket has quoted many. What is the historical precedent? Where is the story of Tanakh from which this bracha is derived? So the Siddur Otzas Atfilos brings from the Lavush that the Malachim recited the bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem Melech Ohev Tzedakah Mishpat. When did they say this bracha? We're off a little bit. Next week's Parsha, the time that Moshe came down and he taught, Eila Mishpatim Asher Tasim Lefnehem, these are the laws the angels observed. Moshe came down and Mishpatim. This week, Parshas Yisro, Hashem, the moment of great revelation, most seminal moment in all of human history, when Hashem revealed himself and spoke directly to the Jewish people, continues to speak to us today. Har Sinai never ended. Kol Gadol V'lo Yasaf Lo Pasak. It never ended. He's still speaking to us today. In the following Parsha next week, we go from Yisro to Mishpatim, which is really in many ways very anticlimactic. It's a little bit of a letdown. This week's Parsha, Kolos Evrachim, Kol Ha'am Ro'im Es HaKolos, the sound and light show, the revelation, the spiritual high. It's an incredible description and depiction of connecting with Hashem. It's the greatest moment in history. Hashem reveals his diary, his manual, his prescription for life, the Torah. And what would you have expected to find in the following Parshios? Continue with spirituality and loftiness, to fabreng with Hashem. Instead, what do we have? Eila Mishpatim, civil law, tort law, criminal law, law of stealing, of guardianship, all the detailed minutiae and the laws of Parshas Mishpatim. It's really very anticlimactic. Come from this incredible spiritual high into this detailed minutiae law book. And there are many lessons in it, namely, where can you find Hashem? In the details, in the interpersonal relationships, responsibility and accountability, in the pursuit of and the protection of tzedakah u'mishpat, Eila ha'mishpatim. These are the laws. So the Lavush quotes that when the Malachim, when the angels witnessed that Moshe came down, and Eila mishpatim asher tasim lefneim, he gave like a shulchan aruch. He set the table with the laws that govern and regulate our interpersonal relationships, that in the pursuit of spirituality, ben adam l'makom, you can't neglect ben adam l'chavero, you can't mistreat, you can't abuse, you can't be aggressive, you can't be ruthless. Person has to conduct themselves not only as a mensch, but with a sense of mishpat, with a sense of justice and truth and integrity. So Har Sinai Yisro is followed with Eila Mishpatim. When the Malachim saw that, it's not about spirituality, a spiritual high. You don't leave that behind when you go to the market. Person has to bring the pursuit and the protection of tzedakah and mishpat with them wherever they go. So the Malachim made a bracha. Baruch atah Hashem, melech ohev tzedakah u'mishpat. And that when they saw that, and that's what we are thinking about during this time. Hashiveinu, what's the bracha? The bracha says, Hashiva Shofteinu kevar rishona, v'yoatzeinu kevat chila. Ribono shel olam, put back our judges, truthful judges, your representatives. V'yoatzeinu kevat chila, and restore the yoatzeinu, the counselors, those who give us advice, as they first were. What's the difference between Shofteinu and yoatzeinu? Judges and advisors. What's the difference between the two? Mitzvah Hashem will pick up with next time.